Okay, well, let's jump in and get started. Everybody got brains? Okay, awesome. Those of you that are watching virtually, we're glad you're here too. Thank you for watching virtually because you wouldn't fit in the classroom today. Okay, so most of you have probably heard our story about Silver Creek. I'm going to go through it quickly again, just because I think it's such a great beginning to Silver Creek. So Silver Creek started in 2008 by the Dowdy family, Roger and Joyce, and their son Aaron, and just a great family. I think there's something special about working for a small business. You can just tell. You can tell when you're working for a family business, and we hope that you guys feel that when you're here. And when you're reaching out to brokers or our admin team or the marketing development team, we want you guys to have a really great experience here at Silver Creek. So I was one of the original agents at Silver Creek in 2008, and we started in a humble little office in Boise, and we purchased the Dowdys purchased this building in 2010, and George and I were like part of the original crew back in the day. George was building SC office. I was kind of helping get that implemented, working the front desk, while also selling real estate, assisted our broker and went through broker training. And then the only advice that I'm going to tell you, don't forget this, okay? Like literally get out your pen. Do not let your real estate license terminate. Don't do it. No one told me. I don't blame the brokerage. Lots of realtor friends. My life kind of took a shift, and my husband and I had started an event company and decided we were going to go full time. I let my license go. I was a broker. So don't do that. If you ever decide you're not going to do real estate, you park that real estate license, you do your CE, you pay $160 a year, and you keep it going. I wish I would have done that. That's okay though. I get to go to real estate school next month. I'm so excited.
Really?
Yes. It's so great.
And it's really only every 2 years. So
every 2 years. That's what I meant. Yes.
Yeah, totally
Don't let it go because, we all know this. Life takes lots of twists and turns, and you never know when real estate's going to make sense for you again. So anyway, great family. The thing I love most about the Dowdys is they really care about people. And as Silver Creek has grown, that's what all the decisions have been about. How are we taking care of our agents? How are we making life easier for them? How are we taking care of staff? Yes, we want to grow. Yes, we love what we do, but this is about you guys. That's why we're here. So anyway, hope you get a chance to meet them. Joyce runs our accounting department. Aaron is one of our brokers, and his office is just down the hall at the end of the hall. So if you haven't met Joyce or Aaron, feel free to introduce yourself. So you'll meet Roger sometime.
when he gets back into society.
Yeah, he's
Hiding.
He's laying low. So, all right, our broker team. So you met Amy. Krista is our designated broker. That means that she is taking responsibility and liability for everything you guys are doing out in the industry, and she's amazing. I talked with an agent yesterday at another brokerage, and he said, "Oh, yeah, isn't your broker Krista Deacon?" And I was like, "Yes, yep, it is." And he's like, "Yeah, I've had some interactions with her in the past, like on some transactions, and he's like, she knows her stuff. Like she has got it going on," and that is so true. The broker team, they are here to support you guys on the contract and compliance side, like I said. So reach out, and those of you that are newly licensed in your first few transactions, like Amy said, you'll be working directly with her as you complete those 3. Training and business development team. Amy, of course, training new agents. Kelsey and Liz and I, we are in marketing, business development, agent support. We're here to help you guys be successful. So reach out if you're feeling stuck. Maybe there's something that you're like, gosh, how do I get more leads? I'm not going to go knock doors with you, but I can point you to some resources, maybe some other people that can be a support and help you reach your goals in that side of your business. Any questions so far? Okay. The rest of our staff, George and Race you met. Our compliance team, they work behind the scenes reviewing documents. They have eyes on every piece of paper that comes through the office related to any transaction. And that is a security for you guys, knowing that there's someone who's double checking things. George is probably going to talk about that a little bit more in SC office, maybe. So you're definitely going to get emails from them. I'm just going to tell you, there's not an agent who hasn't gotten an email from compliance saying, hey, hi, come on in. We might grab a chair, an extra chair, and kind of, perfect, thanks. That's great, awesome. When you get an email from the compliance team, which I was a part of for a long time, they want to be your friend, okay? I know it kind of feels like the teacher with the red pen sometimes, but they want your contracts to be in line and in compliance. So if they say, hey, it looks like you forgot to check that lead-based paint box, your buyer needs to sign this, your earnest money dates don't match, they're doing that to protect you. So sometimes you're like, they're always catching me. It's to help. So anyway, you'll hear from them, they're great. As we've grown, largest brokerage in the state of Idaho, we're really proud of that. We're proud of our agents and what our agents are doing in the industry, and we're excited to have all of you as part of our team. I'm gonna kind of skip, I don't know where that went. We, in the Valley, as you guys pick up your key, you have that key card that talks about where the office locations are. So if you think you might use Boise or Nampa, you're gonna need an extra key or code. So just consider that if you're out showing property and you need a place to sit down with a client, or you need some drop-in workspace, make sure that you check that card and you've got your key fob and your additional key for Southeast Boise or the code for Nampa. But you guys do have 24/7 access to all 4 of our office locations. There are meeting rooms that you can reserve to meet with clients at each of the locations, and drop-in workspace with computers and printers and everything you should need. Okay, we also have the offices in Pocatello, Twin Falls, and Idaho Falls. So if you're ever working in that part of the state and need something over there, let us know, and we can connect you with some of our leads in those areas. Quick review on the fee structure. So newly licensed agents, your first 3 deals at $2,000 while you're in the training program with Amy, and then you move to that $450 flat transaction fee. Those of you that are transferring into Silver Creek, you are generally coming in at that $450 unless maybe you've only done 1 deal and you need to complete a couple more or something like that. And then your $50 desk fee, your admin fee, that covers all your back-end technology and compliance and support and all of those things. Questions? Okay, we know most of this is review, so we try to kind of fly through it a little bit. Okay, E&O insurance. All of you are covered on our group E&O policy. You're all good to go there. Now, your E&O fees, they bill on your agent account. Those of you that joined newly licensed recently, you'll see a charge on your statement for $40, $50 depending on when you joined. That's the prorated amount, and your E&O will bill in October for the year. It'll be $235 that will come on your agent account for that. So watch for that, especially if you're on automatic payments with your agent account. That amount will come out in October. So yep, it's a $2 million policy. Good to go. Questions about E&O? Okay.
Unless otherwise specified, you're just going to take it out of our checks.
It doesn't come out of your check. So it'll come on your agent account, which accounting, since you guys are like relatively, newly joined, accounting will contact you and ask how you want to take care of your monthly payment.
Okay. So you haven't gotten there yet?
Yeah, probably so.
Great.
Yeah. So the only thing that you're going to generally see come out of your agent or your commission checks is your transaction fee, or if you have a referral you're sending to some other agent or something like
We do email out statements every month. Right. It's
Just
actually
paying.
not by date, but it's around the date.
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
For transferring agents, are we covered under our old broker's policy up until October, or how does that work?
Generally, yes. Did your broker have a group policy?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, then you're going to be covered. Basically, you're not on their policy anymore, but we just kind of grandfather you in and put you on our policy for the rest of the year. So you most likely will not see a charge since you've already paid for the year. If we can prevent from double charging, we can do that with group policies, which is nice.
Awesome, thank you.
Good question, you're welcome. Okay, any questions for your newly licensed agents about the new agent training program with Amy? what that looks like. Do you want to do a brief overview of? No, just like
It's like, I don't know if we could be brief, right? Wouldn't that be great? No, I try to get you guys the first week or so after you're onboarded. There's emails that come from me, about 5 or 6 emails that will just give you lots of resources. If you're overwhelmed, because the first couple weeks of joining, different memberships, IMLS, everything like that, there's a lot going on. So if you just need to park those emails in a folder for a while, I have a lot of agents do that, and then just circle back to them as soon as they've got their memberships taken care of, classes taken care of, agent orientation out of the way. So it's fine. It's flexible. Just connect with me at some point so that you're not nervous about calling me. And then, we'll just jump in as soon as you're ready. You can do whatever you want in whatever order you want. But if I know a little bit about your background, if you've got a buyer or a seller you're working with, I can kind of point you into areas that might make a little bit more sense to jump into first. So, we just make it work for you. So
yes. Everyone is kind of in their own place with real estate, right? Like what your goals are, and some people work full time and have a part-time job, and do real estate part-time, or have a part-time job and try to do real estate more. Some agents are like, I'm all in, like let's go. And we want to make our training and resources fit what you guys need. So wherever you're at, that's what we want to make happen. One of the things that's really important to us in our training is we want to empower you guys to drive the car. So as you're working through things, if you call me about I need to generate some more leads, I might send you a few videos to watch, or some, another company's resources, or something like an outside lead generator. And the goal is that we're empowering you, right? Go check these out, see what's going to work for you, see what's going to fit. And same with Amy. She is going to send you the tools and resources that you need so that you can dive in and really just get to know things. You guys are lucky, that's all, because when I was licensed, they're just like, good luck. You got this. And I'm like writing my first contract, like sweating bullets, right? So I love that you have the support that you need to help you be successful. So, great. So from an education standpoint, we are grateful that you're all here watching or attending orientation. This is, a really good foundational piece to get to know the back end side of Silver Creek. Newly licensed agents, don't forget to sign up for post-license fundamentals. That's going to be a really great class. Also your classes on MLS, the classes they offer on how to use Paragon, and Instanet or Form Simplicity, whichever platform you're going to use to fill out your forms. There's 2 to choose from. Some people just prefer one over the other. I've used both. I think they both do a great job. So, but there's trainings on those offered through MLS that can be a big help to getting really familiar with the program. And then also for new agents and transferring agents, if you've not taken the MLS input and maintenance class, you will have to take that prior to inputting your first listing. That is what gives you authority in MLS to input a listing. So make sure you get signed up for that. Just a few things. It's fine. Michael's like, no, I'm sweating bullets.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Any questions about this side of things? Okay. We have sales meetings. So twice a month, the first and third Tuesday at 9 a.m. They take place here in the classroom, but just like the majority of our classes right now, you can live stream in. You can also watch it after the fact on Silver Creek TV, which is our YouTube channel. So generally in the sales meeting, the structure is, we welcome everybody. One of the brokers will come in and share some helpful broker-related information. We'll do haves, wants, and needs, which is like, hey, I've got this listing available, love a buyer. Or, hey, I've got a buyer looking for this type of property. And then anything that you guys need. It's a great time to network with each other. And sometimes you might feel like if there's just a few people in the classroom, you're like, well, like, what does it matter? But there might be 30, 40, 50. I mean, our last sales meeting, I think we had 80 people between in the classroom and virtual. And so it's a great place to, connect with people. even though 2020 is the year of virtual. So every Tuesday from 2:30 to 3:30, we have a digital marketing course. So if you're wanting to up your game in your digital marketing, these are taught by Liz, our marketing director. She's fantastic. And then every Wednesday from 11 to 12:30, George and Race hold an open tech hour. So what that is basically come in with probably your device and anything that you're frustrated with. I need to start my Boomtown. Like, how do I do that? How do I get my website set up? Or, I mean, there's been a ton of things.
So technology-related questions, primarily on Silver Creek systems. MLS, I am an agent, but that said, they're going to be, if you really have an MLS issue, I would call them.
Yeah, their support's awesome at MLS too.
Yeah, we don't have access to the back end to fix problems or anything like that. So, but
I'm just kidding.
But setting up your printers and how to use different systems. If there are, you try SC Office out and you ran into a question, just anything like that.
Thanks, George. Here's what I was looking for, our office locations. So here they are. Kind of talked about that already. The Meridian office is here. Boise is near Barbacoa. That will be moving to State and 25th at the beginning of the year. Nampa is by the Idaho Center, and our Eagle office is right next to Barbanay. So, and then Idaho Falls, Pocatello, Twin Falls. We also have agent-funded offices. What that means is it's an office that one of our agents actually pays for. We have them in Weiser, McCall, Hagerman, Fruitland, and Stanley. So again, if you're working in an area you're not familiar with, please contact one of us and let us connect you with an agent there, a Silver Creek agent that can support you and help. Okay, key fobs. Most of you, it sounds like, have your key and key fob. There is a $10 charge for the key and for the key fob. It's kind of like, a good faith. You'll see that come on your agent account. In Meridian and Eagle, you just need your key fob. There's a little plate next to the door. You just hold it up against, it'll flash green, and the door will unlock. And that's for after hours. During business hours, they're all going to be open, right? But after hours. And then Boise, you need the key fob and a key. And Nampa, you need the key fob and a code. So, and that's on the card that Mindy gives you when you get a key. Okay, printing. So like George said, if you have a laptop or device, we can connect those to our printers here so that when you're on Silver Creek Wi-Fi, you can print directly from your device. Our workroom here at the Meridian office is just down this hall to the left, and you're going to log in to the printer, and I'm sure George is going to talk about this a little bit more.
I'll go over.
Yeah, anyway, you'll log in with your code, and then your documents will be there to print. 200 black and white copies or prints are included every month for you. And then if you need any color copies or prints, they're 25 cents a piece. Another thing that'll bill on your agent account. Great. Okay, let's talk about floor time and open houses. I know especially for our newly licensed agents, this is something we talk about a lot. An opportunity to do floor time, which is answering the phone when people inquire about properties. Open houses is generally doing open houses on behalf of another listing agent, usually hopefully here at Silver Creek, that doesn't have time or doesn't want to do open houses. Great opportunities. I have lots of tips about how to be successful at these. I'm not gonna go into them right now. Suffice it to say that we highly encourage you to get some foundational things done before you jump into floor time or an open house. We want you to be successful. We want this to be a positive experience for you. So, take some time in MLS and get familiar with things. Do some of your, initial classes so that when you're talking to people, you'll have the answers that you need to help them and to create a good, relationship. The goal with both of those is that, you get on the phone. Actually, we had an awesome experience on Monday. An agent came up to my office and he's like, "Oh my gosh, I just had the best floor time." I was like, "Yeah, tell me, I want to know." And he said, a guy called, he was interested in a home in the $700,000 range. So, he jumped on MLS, found the property, was answering some questions for him. They got chatting, they're both hunters, they connected, they talked for 30 minutes, set up a showing for the property. He also needs 2 fourplexes. Pretty good. So That's not going to happen every time you do floor time. And sometimes you might have floor time that you're like, that was great. It rang, the phone rang once. It's awesome. That might happen. To prevent any disappointment, we recommend you bring a project to work on. Work on your marketing, work on your 100-day action plan, watch one of Liz's videos, have something constructive ready to do. So when you walk away, you're like, okay, well, it only rang once, but I got this and this and this done. So I'm doing good. If you want tips about how to be more successful with open houses or floor time, please call Kelsey or I. We'd love to share some ideas. Yeah.
Quick question. So
Yeah.
when you do a 2-hour floor time block,
Mhm.
is there any particular commission structure to that, or is it just
Nope.
straight up lead?
Mhm. Straight up lead.
And read the policy because it's pretty specific. One of the first questions you need to be asking is, hey, are you working with someone? We always want to ask that. Have you reached out to the listing agent? If it's a Silver Creek listing and they've been trying to work with the listing agent, you need to do the right thing and let them work with that person. It's their listing. It's their person.
And honestly,
Yeah.
that's
Yep.
more about, we don't try to funnel things to the listing agent per se, but when you get someone asking that, they're not going to be happy unless they go with the listing agent. That's
Yeah.
going to be.
Yeah.
Well, and it's the same anytime that you're prospecting, right? Like if you're doing an open house and someone comes through, you do need to ask that question, like, are you working with an agent? And that's something that we talk about in real estate school. And so, yeah, definitely think about that. If you want to do floor time or schedule one of the conference rooms, on the toolbox under tools, room scheduling floor time, you click on that. And then you get to choose what it is that you need. So you've got Meridian floor time room 1, and it will show you the times of duration, 2 hours. We allow our agents to do 2 blocks a week. They're 2-hour blocks, and so you can see these days are full. The calendar is a rolling 30-day calendar. So today, one more day will open up on the calendar, right? 30 days from now. So some agents that have times, they're like, this is my floor time. They've been known to stay up till midnight and reserve their floor time. So however committed you want to be to that is great. So it looks like tomorrow, if anyone would like to do some floor time, it looks like there's an opening. So anyway, you can just come here 6 p.m. on a Saturday. So if that's your time, you can book it, hit next, and register through the process. Questions?
The computers downstairs,
Yeah.
how do you log into those? Is it
George,
just
what's-
to sign in?
All the systems are everybody's set up the same, or close to the same. Your login's going to be first letter of your first name and last name. So I would be G Pafundi, and then the last 6 of your social. That's what we try to go with everyone. The big reason for using the last 6 of your social is a number, because that's the number you use to log into the printers. That way we don't have conflicts of 2 people with the same numbers. There's other ways to do it, but honestly, you don't want to be typing your email on a printer. It's a pain in the butt. It's a lot quicker to just stick a number in. So that's where we go with that. So yes, you'll go up to the computer. If you press Control-Alt-Delete, it says it on the screen, but Control-Alt-Delete. If the last person who was logged in, their name may be in there, so you'll want to type your credentials in. First letter, first name, and last name. There are exceptions if you're a Mike Smith. There's a lot of M Smiths, okay? So then we go with Mike Smith or Michael Smith, and you should have been emailed if we did that, if we use a different one.
Great question, thank you. And that username and password is the same for the toolbox as well.
NSC office and the
Everything.
conference rooms and
All the things. While we're kind of on that topic, let me actually go back here to the toolbox. So this section on the toolbox, your account, this is it's just a valuable place because when we're talking like back-end Silver Creek things, this is where you want to come. And a lot of times if you call me and you're like, oh, hey, I got a new phone number, I moved, have a new address, got married, have a new last name, whatever, I need to change that in the system, I'm going to send you to the toolbox under your account. You can register profit sharing. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Reach out for support, create your Silver Creek webpage. This is a little landing page for you on the actual Silver Creek website. A billboard page is what we call it. You can see your 1099, also your year-to-date, what you've made for the year. Update your contact info, set up your auto pay, update your auto pay, and make a suggestion. Send them our way. So that's really helpful. Okay, open houses. So kind of same as talking about floor time. Doing the open house section of the 100-day action plan would be really, really good before you do an actual open house. That is going to give you some foundation, some extra knowledge. Read some training, watch a couple videos, do a few things that'll help you have a more successful open house.
And go be a fly on the wall at other people's open houses.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're happening every day, every weekend. Just go hit 3 or 4 of them. Because you'll
Yeah.
all have your own style. You'll have what feels like you for your open house. And so you'll pick up different things that you like, things that you're like, okay, I'm not using that approach. That was like the weirdest thing I've ever heard in my life. You'll go to open houses and find what works for you. So.
Thanks, Amy. Okay, how do you get paid? That's why you guys came, right? Just how do I get paid? So, you've got your offer under contract, you close, they sign, you're like, okay, I'm ready for my check. We wish it was that easy. It's not. So title needs to deliver that closing packet to us before 2 p.m. Your file in SC Office with all your contract documents has to be complete. Anything that compliance has, messaged you about has to be done. So once we receive those closing packets by 2, accounting is going to process all those closings, and then the broker is going to do a final check on your file to make sure everything is good. We have all the documents we need. And for those of you that don't really know the back end, we get audits from the Real Estate Commission. Is it still every 2 years, or is it every year?
Every year.
Every year.
We're big stuff, so we get one every year.
Yep, and they're going to come and they're going to randomly select however many files, and they're going to go through them with a fine-tooth comb. And I promise you, when that happens, you don't want your file to be the one they pick that is not good to go. So that is why we're so strict, and this is why we're also on the honor roll with IREC every year, because we really have the process in place to protect you guys and to protect Krista, her license in the brokerage. The broker will approve that file, and then you'll get an email from accounting that says your commission check is ready, and then you can get your commission check. These are printed checks, so it is something that you'll need to come by the office to pick up. In the workroom, there are filing cabinets. They're organized by last name, and that's where your check will be. Questions about that? That's part. Okay, orientation's done. Just kidding.
Oh.
Okay, there is a special document that is a Silver Creek specific document that was required in all of your files. Amy, can you talk about that, due diligence disclosure, and the purpose?
Yeah, so your E&O insurance is there to protect you, to protect the brokerage from, anything that just kind of goes wrong, goes a little bit sour with the transaction, any sort of litigation. So in order to kind of keep that that E&O policy at its best, we were recommended to have the Silver Creek due diligence form. It encourages your client to realize what is really in their control and what they need to be doing as due diligence in any sort of a transaction. So, read over that so that you can explain things to them, but hopefully it limits your liability so that things don't come back to you, because when something goes wrong, buyers and sellers want someone to blame, and it's going to end up being you. And so that way you've protected yourself and you've protected the brokerage, and then we can reduce, some of those E&O claims and stuff.
Thank you. So this is a snapshot of Instanet. If you've used Instanet before, it looks familiar. If not, it will look familiar. And so basically when you're, building a forms package for a transaction, there's individual forms. The other one you're going to see a lot is IMLS administrative forms. This is where your data sheet is. And then your Idaho Association of Realtors. This is your RE21, purchase and sale agreement, addendums, counteroffers, all of those. Under individual forms, view individual forms, there's a Silver Creek folder. In that folder is the due diligence disclosure. We also have an earnest money receipt, referral agreement, So if, if you're receiving a referral or sending a referral out, and then a broker agreement addendum to the seller rep if there's changes needed there. So when you're like, they said a due diligence disclosure, but it's not here, where do I find it? Individual forms, Silver Creek Realty, that's where it'll be. Yes.
So you need that on every transaction.
Every transaction, yep, whether you're representing the buyer or the seller.
And I'll give you a tip. If you're in Instanet and you create transactions, things are going to stay way more organized. And if you pick a template, Krista has designed templates, the Silver Creek due diligence form will automatically be in your template. You won't have to go hunt for it. So
Templates and Instanet, just make a mental note. It's a time saver for sure. Yep, here it is. Okay. It seems like the compliance team, I don't know, there's something about this earnest money section that can be a little confusing. Do you want to talk through it since it's like contract? I'm like, Amy's going to do the orientation.
well, and the other thing, again, if you use the templates in Instanet, this automatically comes already filled out for you. You will have to pick the earnest money type, the evidenced by section there on the left. You do need to indicate if it's a check, what kind of check. IREC does care if it's a personal check or a cashier's check. If that changes in the transaction, we'll make you do an addendum. It sounds crazy, but that's what they look for. That's what they audit for. But the rest of them will automatically populate. Krista Deacon's name will show up as the responsible broker. So just another reason to use those templates that have already been created for you. But that's our preference. The other thing I will throw in here that I get asked a lot is, okay, I've got my offer, I've got the earnest money check. They gave it to me when we filled out the contract. And I don't even want to hear that, because all over the contract, it says that the buyer is going to deliver the earnest money. IREC cares about that. They do not want you taking that check, putting it in your pocket, putting it in the glove box of your car. It's entrusted funds. You don't want that liability. We don't want that liability. The buyer delivers the earnest money to title. When I say title, I mean closing company. I get that asked a lot too. Like, what do you mean closing company? It's the title company. That's who they're going to make the check out to.
Yeah, thank you. We don't want your earnest money checks made out to Silver Creek Realty. We don't want to hold your earnest money. We want the title company to do that. That simplifies things a lot. Any questions about this? Okay, we're doing great. Those of you, if you need a headshot, we have headshots available once a month. Glamour shots by Liz is what they're called right now.
Yeah.
Roger has done them historically, but like we said, he's laying low. Couple of options about headshots. First of all, you don't have to have a headshot. You can get a headshot somewhere else. You can come and get a headshot here. We're not professional photographers. This is just a courtesy, nice thing that we do for you. If you really need one. If you're looking for something a little more stylish, maybe outdoors, or a little more, just, I don't want to say professional because the photos are still professional, but up a notch, let us know. We can give you a referral to a couple companies in town who do a great job with headshots. If you want to write them down, if any of you are looking, Ampersand Studios, they do headshots once a month in their studio. They're fantastic. Worked with them for years in the event industry. They're amazing. Cy Gilbert, CY Gilbert, he also does a great job. So those are two referrals for you if you need them. Okay, signs and lockboxes. We get asked a lot, like, hey, can I come and pick up some lockboxes? Unfortunately, no. The lockboxes are all handled at MLS. So you're going to purchase them directly from MLS. We do have Silver Creek signs. Here's a little mock-up of them. They're $20 for just the sign panel. You can pick those up here at the office. They bill to your agent account. And then we also have the frame, the little black frame that sits, maybe a couple feet off the ground, $15 for that. So they're available. Some people decide that they want to have, that taller, it's the tall post that has the arm that comes out. That's my personal preference. When I was listing property, it sits higher off the ground. You need to purchase those through an outside provider. George, do you know locally where the best place is to get those?
To get the signs?
To get the swinging arm frames.
I'm sorry. there's a ton of them out there.
Yeah. And you can order them
Signs,
online,
what is it,
too.
Signs R Us or
Signs R Us, yeah.
yeah, there's a
Um,
bunch of them.
Those companies can also make you a sign writer that has your name and phone number on it that you install on top of the frame. Some people decide they want to design their own signs, and that's fine too. Maybe you have a certain, color scheme or brand that you're really trying to build around your real estate business. That's fine. Just remember that Silver Creek name or logo has to be on that sign. All of your marketing, always have to say Silver Creek Realty Group or have the Silver Creek
And
logo.
there are like perma flyers and things like that available. Bear Printing does them.
Yep.
So,
So cards and flyers, here's Bear Printing. They're a company that services our agents. They can send out auto postcards. They can print and mail you flyers. There's a lot of things they can do. There was one, I was going somewhere, now I can't remember. I'll go back.
sorry.
Thanks, George. I'm just kidding. It's fine. The logos. So
Angel said post reps is awesome.
Post reps. Thank you, Angel. In your Silver Creek toolbox, I believe it's under marketing, you can get the whole suite of Silver Creek logos. So if you are creating, here they are. You just click on this blue bar. It's going to download it as a zip file. You'll, extract all, and then all of the Silver Creek logos will be there. And there are some that are just a solid white. So if you're going with a different color scheme that the blue maybe won't work with, you can use the white instead. So there's a lot of versions in there. Great. Okay, questions about signs or lockboxes? Perfect. Remember, in your advertising, like I just said, always need to have the Silver Creek name or logo, broker's licensed business name, which is Silver Creek Realty Group. All advertised by licensed branch offices shall contain the broker's licensed business name. No advertising shall provide any information to the public or prospective customers or clients, which is misleading. So just be really clear with your marketing. If you have questions about a marketing campaign or something that you're doing, we're here. We're here to help you guys. Just reach out. I love what Amy said. Don't get yourself in trouble because you were afraid to call or you didn't want to be a nuisance. You're not a nuisance. We're here to help you. We want you to be successful. Okay, MLS dues. You guys are responsible for your own MLS dues and your association dues as well. Those are not things that are handled by the brokerage. Pay attention also to your MLS fines or IREC fines. You're responsible for those as well. I believe MLS has a class that they do regularly that's all about the violations. It's a good class. It's good to just be aware, how much time you have to change your listing to pending before they'll email you, and they will. They're or if your closing date is scheduled for today and a few days from now it's still not marked close, they'll email you. And sometimes they're not really forgiving. So it's good to just be aware of the different rules in there. Okay, I'm gonna let Amy, if she comes back, talk about compensation. George is gonna jump in a little bit more in a few minutes about some of our technology at Silver Creek and the system we use to upload documents. This is our tech stack. Our goal at Silver Creek is that we provide you guys the resources you need, the tools you need, and you can pick and choose what is going to work best for your business. If you're stuck and you're not sure what to implement next, again, that's why we're here. But we've got a lot of great online marketing things that are available and happening. As you can see, there's no shortage of options and ideas. Talked about the toolbox. Also on the toolbox, so we jumped into logos, we jumped into your account. Everything's categorized by section, so resources, document templates if you're looking for scripts or listing presentations or buyer packets, checklists, those types of things. Our calendar. Silver Creek How To is basically orientation in written form. It's a great place to go. Silver Creek TV is our YouTube channel where all of our classes are recorded, except for generally the CE classes or a more private, like you have to maybe pay to attend. Those won't be. but they're recorded and put on our YouTube channel so you guys can watch them at your leisure. Office locations, you name it. Services, if you need help uploading your documents, or if you're looking for a transaction coordinator, we've got resources there. Marketing, education, tools, you name it, it's here. Yep, talked about this. SilverCreekRealty.net. This is run directly from us here at Silver Creek, and we've got a landing page for each of you guys if you want to send in your information through the toolbox. George and Race.
I'm going to go over websites.
Great. I'm going to skip through some of this.
Yep, I'll go over all this.
Yep, perfect. Great. Keep on going. We do have a blog that Liz, our marketing manager, manages and writes original content for. She also runs a podcast that's on pause right now because of COVID, but she puts this blog content into a newsletter that you guys can send out to your client base and your database, your sphere of influence. It's all original content. It's lifestyle, Idaho focused. We usually highlight a small business and a nonprofit locally, things that are happening in the community, give market updates, things like that, and it connects really well with MailChimp. You can just open it in MailChimp, attach your list, change maybe your name in a couple of places and hit send, and you're good to go. So if you ever have questions about how to integrate that, Open Tech Hour would be a great place to come.
And Liz does go over MailChimp and this and how to kind of syndicate yourself in her marketing class.
Yep, she's got videos on all of this on Silver Creek TV, which is great. But it's so nice. I think so often, like, we want to do a newsletter, we want to, use that medium as one of the ways we're staying in touch with people. But like, I don't want to write a newsletter. Like, I don't have time for that. I don't know what to write about. But that's what Liz does, right? She's making it for you. All you have to do is connect and send, which is awesome. And it's content that people want to read. Yeah.
Is there an ability to be able to put our face on it?
Yep.
And contact information?
It's all customizable.
Okay.
I can just show you a quick example. I think it's helpful to just see really quick. Oh, no. Go to that one. So basically, you click on it.
You'll want to have a MailChimp account set up first.
Yep,
On your
have your
computer.
list updated.
They're free. You don't have to have the paper.
So she's also got other like just sold, just listed templates as well pending. So you click on the Silver Creek Tribune. Here's what the August one looks like. So here's our July market stats, our nonprofit this month, Eagle Yoga House. These are some cooking videos from the Chef Dowdy herself, Joyce. She's a renowned chef. So she's got some cooking videos. And then here you can put in one of your listings, or with permission, someone else's listing. We usually have one a month that an agent has given us permission to share, but fill in that information. And then at the bottom, right here, this is where you're gonna basically click on this and change your photo out. So it's you, say goodbye, and then change this bottom section to be your contact info. So it literally looks like a newsletter that you created. It's fantastic.
And you can add your own stuff.
Yep, yeah. I mean, MailChimp, for those of you that haven't used it, is very user-friendly, and Liz has videos on how to, take it to the next level. Okay. Culture Club is great. It's on hold. We're gonna skip that.
I still think we should be, playing the Boy George song. What is it? One of the Culture Club. When they first came up with it, that's when it just immediately, do you really want to hurt me?
Oh yeah, yes, that one, yes.
That's what popped into my head. And they all looked at me, I'm just old.
We like it. You should stay. Culture Club is ways to connect with other agents here at the brokerage in a more social way. COVID has kind of put a little damper on that this year, but hopefully before too long we'll be back at it. So we have a Facebook page we would love for you to like. We also have the agent forum. George, what's the process for that? Someone adds them to the forum, right? Or do they have to add themselves?
To the Silver Creek forums?
Yeah.
We do it automatically as part of Angels.
Okay, perfect. So you'll receive an invitation to join the forum. I love the forum. I think that especially as real estate has gone on, it's more and more virtual. Like, it's the desk fee term, that's because back in the day, you actually had to come and sit at a desk and look through books of listings in order to know what was available, right? But now everything can be done from home on your device. And so this is a great way to connect and get resources. And all of you should definitely go on and introduce yourself and start connecting with some of these great agents that are here at Silver Creek. I just love the conversations that happen there. And as staff, we try to jump in and, share resources, give ideas. We post about our classes in there. All the classes also live stream there as well. So I like it. I'm a Facebook girl though, so what are you gonna do? We also have an Instagram page. We offer to our agents that you can do an Instagram story takeover. So basically we give you access to our Instagram stories, and you can highlight yourself on our Instagram that way, and you can sign up to do that. So you should do it. You can also connect with us on LinkedIn, so we'd love it if you did that too.
And if I could throw one thing in.
Yep.
I haven't heard back any comment from Angel, so Angel, feel free to chime in.
I know, Angel needs to be
I'm pretty
standing
sure
right
she
here.
set you up for the forum, but fail safe is just pull up, search
Yeah.
Silver Creek
Agent forum.
Agent forum,
Mhm.
and request to be added, and that'll
Yep.
come right
And
to
if
it.
she invites you to it, you still have to accept the
Right,
invitation.
so.
So, okay, profit sharing. Yes. Love this. So at Silver Creek, we want to encourage you to bring your agent friends to Silver Creek. So we have a profit sharing program. How that works is that if you say your sister is an agent at another brokerage and you're like, oh my gosh, I just joined Silver Creek, it's amazing, you gotta come and meet with Kristen or Kelsey, right? They come and they're like, yes, I love this, I'm ready, let's come on. So when they join, every time they have a closing with a full price transaction fee, $450, you're gonna receive $100 of Silver Creek's profit. So out of that $450, you'll get $100 every time they have a closing, just like that. So
Up to 20.
up to 20, right? Because that's when they'll hit their
When
cap
they
for the
cap.
year. Yep. So it has to be a full 450. Anyway, it's a great way to just get a little extra in your pocket, and to be working with the agents that you love working with. So if you ever have an agent that you think would be a great fit here at Silver Creek, Kelsey and I are the ones that would love to connect with them and share more information. I also post about profit sharing in the agent forum and give you some tips of like how to share, how to talk about Silver Creek. I mean, none of us want to be too salesy, but we also know that Silver Creek is a great place with great support and resources. So let's share the word. Okay, teams next. Okay, so we have roughly 30 teams here at Silver Creek. And so basically how I like to describe a team, if you're not familiar, is you've got your Silver Creek umbrella, and we're all individual agents at Silver Creek, right? And then sometimes there's a group of agents who wants to partner up and do work together. And they're still Silver Creek agents. They're still, subject to Silver Creek policies and procedures and fees and things like that. But they have their own goals. They have their own plans. They have their own training. They have their own lead programs and how they're helping each other be successful. So sometimes teams can be really attractive for certain agents. Sometimes it's great to just partner up. Maybe you're sharing workload, you're helping each other out, you're investing in leads together and sharing those. They all have different philosophies. On the toolbox, there's a link called Teams where you can look through and see all the different teams here at Silver Creek. And I'll just show you really quick. Well, I have it in my favorites, but okay, under other. So teams, you can come here and see all the teams at Silver Creek. If you're interested in joining a team and you know that team, you're welcome to reach out. Not every team is recruiting, and certain teams have certain requirements of where they want their agents to be in their business currently. Some agents will take brand new, or some teams will take brand new agents. Some want agents to have a little bit more experience. Every team has their own commission structure. So this varies so much by team. If you guys have questions about teams, or that is something that you're interested in talking about, if you're looking for more coaching, you're looking for more support, a way to take your business from where it is to where it needs to go next, talk to me and I can, just hear more about your goals, or Kelsey, and we can connect you. Yes.
Actually, a quick question for the logos. I
Yeah.
see that some of them have the Silver Creek Realty Group and some don't, like the Hughes don't really have that in there. How does that
For
work?
the most, so this is just their individual logo
Okay.
on any public marketing, right? So this in particular is not like public marketing, but on any public marketing they do,
Like
they'll
it's
need to
just
have
social
both.
media page they would have to have.
Yes.
Yes.
Anything that in any way touches on real estate. That said, keep in mind a lot of these groups have their own logos, and they'll also put the Silver Creek logo
Or
on
the
page,
name.
or the name Silver Creek Realty Group. Sometimes it fits better that way. They type it in. So either way is fine. You just have to have it on there.
Yeah.
So if the Hughes Real Estate Group was like the cover photo for a Facebook page, could they mention Silver Creek Realty Group in the text of the business page, or does it have to be in that image?
Technically, it has to be what the real estate commission said is when you first land on a page, they want to know
It's
who
so
your brokerage is. That if it's a one-page thing, then you probably are fine. But if it's scroll,
Right.
then
So it can be in the text, not necessarily like in every single image, just somewhere in the text.
Just they want it to be obvious,
Okay.
right? So if you're working on something and you're like, I'm not sure if this is going to work, send it over. Let us look at it, right? Better be safe than sorry, ultimately. And I recommend I know I see both, but if you're posting that you've got a listing available, like, just listed, blah, 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 here's the description. I've assisted several real estate agents here at Silver Creek since 2013. And anytime I would do a Facebook post for them, I've always put listed by Nick Kuntz at Silver Creek Realty Group. Just because I never want it to seem misleading, right? You never want to be in a situation where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to, right? Better be safe than sorry, and just have Silver Creek, where you need it. So anyway, here's all the teams: large teams, medium, small, and all teams. So you can review here. But Kelsey and I are also happy to talk with you about teams if you ever have questions. Are you ready?
Yeah. Are
Do you
done
want me to
with
go?
yours, or do you?
I think that's pretty much.
Yeah, I'm ready when you're ready.
Okay, George is going to take over. He is going to jump in and talk about SC Office. SC Office is our back-end platform where you upload your documents. So, and then he's going to talk about other
Techie stuff.
techie stuff.
George.
Yes, George.
Welcome.
Round of applause. And wait, before we do, is there any questions on anything we've talked about so far, either online or from you guys?
Y'all are quiet.
It's
It's Friday, you guys.
So with the people who are here and the ones online, we're running around 40 people attending this. So you're not
That's
alone.
great.
Yeah, if you have questions, there's no shameful questions.
That's
Other
for
than maybe
sure.
what's your name?
Right.
But,
Where am I?
yeah, those things get embarrassing. Does anybody use a Chromebook in here? I just want to know because I like to take a picture of you. And
Oh my gosh, Chromebook shaming. Yeah.
Where do we submit our headshot so that way it appears on Silver Creek?
Okay, so yeah, on SC or
In
on
the toolbox.
on the toolbox, under your account, create, edit Silver Creek webpage.
Okay.
Yep, that's the place. You can put in a bio and your contact info and stuff like that.
And that'll go to, you can't edit the page, Grace and I have to do it. So, but
Yeah.
again, we'll talk about that in a second.
Also on the toolbox, sometimes I'm excited about the toolbox. I like it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
But there's a lot on here. And so just keep in mind, there's a search box up top here. So sometimes I'm like, where's that thing I need? You can also favorite things. So my green bar here, these are my favorites. That way I know I can get to what I need quickly. So definitely recommend you guys spend some time here just exploring different resources. So do you want to continue on my?
No, I've got it open on
Okay.
the computer.
Perfect. Okay, I'm gonna let George take over. I'll be back.
It's over here. Let's examine. Well, hello, everybody. I'm George Pafundi. Lack of another term, the Silver Creek's Chief Information Officer, for what it's worth. I've been an agent for a very, very long time. I don't know, 2002 maybe. I was a builder for 22 years, started a couple mortgage companies. I've been involved in Silver Creek since day one. I actually had a brokerage and sold it, and that became ultimately Silver Creek. So been along for the ride, and it's a great group of people. I tell you about my background primarily just to let you know, whatever you're going through, I probably messed it up, like bad. I have had to appear in front of the Real Estate Commission a couple times, and I've been exonerated. Thank you. But those things do happen, and you have a lot of people out there who just get sore because they don't feel like they were communicated with right, or just weren't treated right. And you may have done everything above board, everything right, and sometimes it just doesn't matter. And that's why the suggestions we make and the tools that we give you are there to make sure that if something like that ever happens, you're safe. That's the last thing you want to have to deal with. So, Krista Deacon is just absolutely awesome. I've done a lot of brokers over the years, and she really is very good. Kim is the managing broker. Kim said to me that she's also awesome. You met Amy. Amy was the managing broker, so basically Krista's assistant broker, and then now she specializes for the new agents. So you have a wonderful team. Aaron Dowdy is also a broker. He actually was the broker for a short time. He obviously has other responsibilities. So that said, we're going to talk about a few different things. I'm going to hopefully go as quick as I can because it is Friday and I know how much everybody hates to clicker. I need my clicker. Oh, there it is. Or did she pull the clicker? Let's see if we click. Look at that. Okay, so step one, we're going to go through SC Office. So SC Office is just a website. A couple things to point out. If you go there, if you type scoffice.net, it's going to take you, it's actually going to forward to the actual website. This is just a shortcut name. But what I want to point out here is HTTP. So HTTPS, S is secure. So whenever you go to I'm going to touch on some other things other than just our stuff, but just in general technology for you guys. S being secure. So if you go to your bank or anything like that and there's no S, you do not upload, sensitive information. That's your key. You want to see an S up there. That said, a domain name, which is this part right here, if you type that in and it's just no S or anything else, and it forwards to another site. Now, obviously, you want to make sure that site's legit, but it should have an S for security. So it's okay to have a non-S for just forwarding purposes. Domain names are something that we'll talk about in just a little bit when we get on the websites. But that's something I'm going to recommend you guys consider for yourselves. Okay. So, what is SC Office? Well, every company has their version of this. In the old days, we all just kept our own records, all right? And then they really started hammering us to make sure the broker had copies of the records. So everybody would bring things in, and we had paper records and file folders and all that. Then we started having people email things in when email got a little more reliable, but then we found out that, hey, turns out email's not so reliable, okay? Take that to heart. If you're doing a transaction, how many of you are brand new? I won't pick on you, I promise. So, okay. You're doing a transaction, and maybe you're in your period of time where you can terminate. You do your inspections and terminate, okay? You do a termination, and you send it over to the other agent. Does that mean that you're now terminated? Is it at an end?
No.
No. You need to have the response back, right? Signed and everything else. So if you email it off, one, it's possible they didn't get it. Two, it's possible maybe the agent doesn't want to actually, give that to their seller and cancel it. Either way, there's a lot of things about that may not work. You still have, what are these things called? Phones? You still have these. You can call people. It's okay. The agents are not typically mean on the other side. A couple. Most are actually really good people. Other brokerages, doesn't make a difference. We're all in this together. So anyhow, we were having you email things in, and then we all of a sudden get a notification from title that it closed, and here's a bunch of money, and we're like, well, we don't. Who's this for? Who's the agent? I mean, that's embarrassing, right? Or vice versa. You do a closing, and we've sent you comments, emailed to, hey, you're missing initial on page 2 of the purchase and sale agreement. Well, we want to pay as quickly as possible, but we can't pay until the file is correct, right? It has to be right. So if you're not getting those emails, that's a hardship also. So then we said, well, we need something that's a more positive response. So when you turn a document into this, it uploads, it changes colors, it tells you everything's good, and you move on to the next thing. If there's a problem with your file, it's going to be red. So let's take a look at this. When you go to the site, you'll put in first letter of your first name and then last name, and then typically the last 6 of your social. Give it a try. If you have problems, talk to me. I use David Copperfield as one of my test agents because it's magic.
Yeah.
Actually, I need a bunch of characters, and I like Charles Dickens, so I went with David Copperfield because it's like 38 characters in the book. So, everybody know who this is? Craig Boyette?
No.
Okay, that's not necessarily bad, but hopefully you won't get to know him. But he's actually a really nice guy. Chief Inspector, investigator for IREP. So you don't want to get to know him really well. Okay, so he's come out and talked to us a few times, and the current thing that is really big on his list is this. You have to turn in all your documents, whether a transaction is accepted or not. Okay, and a lot of brokerages have gotten in trouble with this. We've always required documents to be turned in. So if you have a new transaction and you're waiting on a response from the seller, you didn't offer representing a buyer, and you're waiting for a response, you still have to turn that paperwork in. If it gets rejected, you still have to turn the paperwork in. Okay? It doesn't, once you do something, you have to turn it in. Now there's a new thing that just came out, and they've decided, we had asked them this before when we designed the system, was what about if you just do a buyer rep and a blue brochure, just some basic representation, not a seller, just a buyer. And they said, well, until you have a transaction, we're not going to require that you turn those documents in. So agents had to keep them. You always could turn them in, and there's a way to do that. Well, I'm just about done with a customization that's going to have a spot on here for turning in buyer documents that aren't associated with the transaction. So that's coming. I just don't want to confuse you guys with it, but as we get through it, we've got this covered. That's the big thing that I wanted to point out. And then on your side, just make sure you turn everything in. So once you log in, it's going to take you to this page, and you have kind of 3 sections to this. We have where you turn in your documents, how do you create the transaction. We have a list of all your current transactions, and all these are color coded. Out of all my years of kindergarten, the one thing I got out of it was red light, green light. Okay? So,
I'll hear you.
yeah. So red is there's something going on with the file, right? You can click it, you can find out more. Green, it's good. Everything's hunky-dory. Now, the one thing I will say with that is, if there's information that you know about the property, like maybe there was a counter offer and you didn't turn it in, but everything's been signed, we might not know about it, so you still need to look at your own files and know what's going on. Okay. And then yellow, that's what happens when you first turn create a transaction or turn documents in. It's going to turn yellow because that means that it's in for review at the office. Okay. So, and I didn't tell you, there is one other color, orange. So once it gets within, I think it's 10 days of closing, you're about 10 days prior to closing, it's going to turn orange. And that, hopefully you realize your transaction's getting ready to close, right? But I'll tell you where it is helpful though. So you have a transaction, it's getting ready to close, and according to our records, but you know that they're not going to be ready to close, and you've discussed this with the seller, and it's been back and forth, everything's been discussed, and you may even have gotten the paperwork, but you didn't turn it in to extend it. So it's going to be a reminder, hey, you need to get an extension on your contract here, depending on the scenario that you're in. So it is helpful. And it also causes us to kind of start a preliminary review so that the brokers are looking at it and saying, yep, we're ready to close, or no, we've got these questions. And they'll send it out to you, which will turn it red. And you'll get an email, which I know you guys don't always get, but you can always log in here and see and get a positive what's going on with your file. So, next page. This section over to the right, alerts. There's, what do we have here? 5. So the top one, action required. If you click that, it's going to come in here and it's going to show this long name here. It's our way of coding it, but basically it's the address, the name of you, the agent. It's a listing, and then what the document is, lead-based paint disclosure. Then it's red, because everything in here is going to be red. And then over here on the right, it tells you what the last comment was. So it's saying, please have the agent initial section F and resend the file, thanks. Okay, pretty simple. The next one down is active properties, which is pretty much the same list that you have on the home page. The only difference here is you're going to be able to see the last comment. The next one down is search M files. I'll get back to that. Paid recent and dead recent. So paid, once a transaction is paid, and it's going to be moved into that, it looks like a folder. So that's the page it'll show up on. And it stays there for 6 months. After 6 months, you can't get to it that way. It's basically closed, permanently closed out, right? So you can always go into search M files. M files is actually the program behind all of this. It's a relationship management software. We probably have 30 million documents in the file, and you can search them in under 2 seconds. So it's a pretty amazing product. Also throw into the mix, just so you know about us, we invest in everything. This program, we own it. It's our own customization. It's our own websites. It's on our own servers, our own hardware. It's in this building, backed up 8 ways to Sunday. If the internet went down, you could come to the office and access everything. Okay, we own it. I skipped the spot. Down here, dead. So once, if a transaction is terminated for whatever reason, falls through, whatever, it'll stay in there for 6 months as well. Okay. After that, you have to go into M files to see it. We have every document since we have started this program is in there. We don't pull them out. You will always have access. We may one day do some kind of archive system, but from your side, it's going to be pretty simple. You're not going to notice much with it. But that's nice because 10 years from now, you could go search M files and say, well, how many deals did I do with Mary Smith over at John L. Scott in the past 10 years? And you could look up and find out how many you did with her. Okay? Might be a great person to recruit. So hopefully you do it before 10 years, though. If you're doing a lot with them now, I would talk to them. The next section, which is the one furthest to the left. So these are the 2 types of transactions, in essence, you can do. A new buyer transaction or a new listing. These headings underneath here, or those are the headings, these sections underneath here. So if we click on existing property and the new listing, that's just how you create a new listing, okay, and send your documents in. It's going to bring up a page. We call it the property contract submission form. If you printed this off, it's probably an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. It's actually not that long. But basically, it has your name at the top. If you are working with a team or a transaction coordinator, they all do things differently. Some of them, you turn your papers into them, and then they create the file. Others, you create the file and you pick them from the list. Either way works for us. It doesn't matter. If you have an agent that you're working with or a co-agent, you can put them on here, and then either one of you can add things to the file and access things. You cannot delete things from the file. You can add more to it, newer versions, that kind of stuff. And that keeps us in compliance with the Real Estate Commission. Going down here, we'll do a live version of this, but as you go down the page, it asks you, who do we represent? Well, it's already going to fill that in based on what you picked here. It's going to go down the page, and you're going to see a section here for property address. I think that you can see more here. right here, property address. Just fill that in. If it's 123 North Main Street, that's simple, right? This is not, by the way, about the legal description. This is about communication between you and the office. So let's just say you don't have an address, but you have a lot and block. You can just put in the lot and block in the neighborhood. That's fine. When you get an address later on and you do an amendment or addendum to your contract, we'll update it in the back end and it'll all be good. What happens if you don't have an address and it's some meets and bounds from this rock to that hillside to, mile marker 6 on Highway 55. So that's fine. You don't have to put all that in there. All we need from you is something like a TBD, to be determined, Highway 55 in Donnelly. That's fine. When you get an address, we'll update it. But at least we're talking about the same property. That if you call in and go, hey, Krista, got a problem with my listing up in Donnelly, and she pulls up your name, pulls up the property, and boom, she knows you guys are talking about the same thing. Okay? So remember, we're your friends in this. We want to make it simple. As you go down the page, we have buyer information, seller information. So notice that you have buyer first name, buyer last name. It doesn't have two buyers or husband and wife or whatever it happens to be, tenants in common, any of that kind of stuff. So if it's Mike and Mary Smith, just put Mike and Mary in the first name and Smith in the last name. That's fine. We're just using this to name the file. If it was the Smith Family Trust, you could put that under buyer entity right here. You notice that it has buyer email, buyer phone number. If you have them, great. If you don't, that's fine. Pretty much the only thing required on here is some type of address. After that, the rest is all, you could actually submit it and then add it later. Okay, which I'll show you that in a second. Everybody following me so far? Other than that, on this, we have the seller side. Oh, and that phone number stuff, that's really for if for some reason you're out of town and you thought everything was great with your file, and then they call the office all panicked and the world's coming to an end, and it's, what is it, ducky lucky, the sky's falling. Broker or whoever's handling it can look up the phone numbers and you know how to reach them. Further down the page, we have earnest money deposit. Up here we have earnest money collection. If you click this and do the pull down, it's going to pretty much reflect what's on the RE21 or RE whatever form you're using on this particular file. Okay, so pretty self-explanatory when you go through it. Sales price, title company, location. The more info you give us, the easier it is for us to process it down the road. Acceptance date, estimated closing date. Obviously, on a listing, you're not going to have that, so you're just going to skip it. Commission special instructions. So maybe you and I work together on something, and we regularly work together, and sometimes you bring the deal, and our arrangement between us is if he brings the deal, he gets 80% and I get 20%. And I cover and I do everything else. We're still working as a team. And then when I bring the deal, I get 80 and he gets 20. It's just how we worked it out. You could just put that down here. It doesn't have to be some crazy written contract, formal relationship. Whatever you guys tell us, we'll do the splits accordingly. Okay? So that's how you can convey that easily. So once you hit submit, this is what the page basically looks like. All those fields that we didn't fill in, we basically can fill in later. Okay? And in a lot of cases, you couldn't fill them in because it was a listing and you just don't have the information yet. This section down here, required documents, that's going to vary based on the type of transaction that it is. So whatever you told us it was, a buyer file or seller file, new construction, commercial, whatever it happens to be, okay? In order to, these required documents up here, that already have the heading names on them. So all you have to do is drag your document in and hover over the gray area. It's bigger when there's nothing in there, but hover over the gray area, let go, uploads. It has to be a PDF. Honestly, I think max size is like 40 megabytes, which is ridiculous for an individual document. I hope you don't have a 40 megabyte file. They should be in like so many K, so a tenth or a hundredth of that. So that's how you upload those. You notice how this one's red? So David Copperfield would have received a notice saying, hey, whatever's wrong with the file. You can click on the comments right here. It'll expand and show you what was sent. You, again, probably already received an email, but if you didn't, that's how you can see it. And in order to update this, so what is that, a property condition disclosure form? I don't know, anybody know how many pages that is?
The disclosure?
Yeah, 6.
So the disclosure.
Yeah, I don't know, whatever it is. So sake of argument, it's a 6-page document, and it says you missed an initial on page 2. We need all 6 pages. You only have to get page 2 initial, but we do need all 6 pages. Because the way it basically works is you're going to drag and drop it right on top of this one, and then in the back end, when the Real Estate Commission does their audit, they can see each version stacked on top of each other, electronically, of course. But that's the way it looks to them. So they can go, well, what did it originally look like? And they can see the original version, version 2, version 3, whatever happened to happen. Okay. So maybe you turned in the documents and they're not signed by the you're representing the buyer, and they're not signed by the seller yet. Okay. Well, when you get them signed, you'll just drop them on top. That all make sense? Then this section, the next 2 sections, I should say, other documents right here. All of these are blank initially. So you can pick what kind of doc it is, and you can just keep hitting add another document, add another document. You can basically have as many as you want. And there's even custom naming if you needed to, but for the most part, they're named whatever the RE forms are or follow that convention. Down here, add another or dead or archive documents. That's really for listings. So you have a listing, you have 5 offers, 1's accepted, and basically agents don't want to see those other 4 offers mixed in with all their other documents. So what we do is we get them basically, or we archive them, and they move into that section down there. You can always hit the plus, see all of them. So, you know, I don't know, the first one fell through and you're going to reach out to the other people. You want to go and look at the contracts. So that way you can always get to them. But that was one of the requests agents made, was it was just too confusing. It was too much when we first came out. So let's go ahead and do a little test scenario. We're going to log into it. Already cheated and went there. We're going to do D Copperfield. So he does not have a 6-digit login. Fucking crash up here. Oh, toolbox. She must have logged out. And yes, this computer is a little slow. So we're in here, and let's just go ahead and create a new property. We're just going to do an existing property. It's going to bring up this sheet. We're just going to do a listing, so we're going to keep it super simple here. I need to make something up. Anybody? 5, 4, 3, 5, 1. North. What do you think? Main Street? Can't spell Main. Eagle, Idaho, 83616. I don't know the lot block. I'm not going to worry about it. It's a listing. I don't have a buyer yet. Sally Johnson is my. There's an E in Sally. You guys are allowed to comment. Is there an E in Sally? Anybody?
No.
Why does it look wrong to me? Does that look wrong to you?
No, that's right.
Okay.
Oh, you don't remember Sally Field?
You know, you would think I would know. Earnest money collection, don't have anything. Responsible broker. Normally, we would, you know, if you want Chris to be it, then you're going to put Chris the Deacon on your contracts if you don't know that. It's not Silver Creek Realty Group, it's Chris the Deacon. That's your broker. Earnest money, don't have anything. So basically, we don't have anything else. I mean, we do know that please give George Pafundi 20% of commission. You're welcome to use that. David Copperfield and I work together a lot. At least I spelled my name right. I was worried about that for a second. So I created the page. So down here, I want to add a seller rep agreement. If you don't know how to do this, you can split your page like that. I already have, you do have to have the documents on your computer in some way, okay? They can be in your Dropbox, they can be Google Drive, OneDrive, any of that, that's fine. But you have to have a PDF of it on your computer somehow. So I want to add a seller rep agreement. So I have a seller rep agreement right here. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to drop it right on, can you see the gray area? Let go, and it's done. Not hard. In fact, simple. So another way you can do it, I picked on, did you raise your hand for Chromebook? Okay, somebody did. Okay, I was close. He did. So if you're on a Chromebook, I'm not real good with Chromebook. You can do this from your phone, a tablet, Chromebook. Chromebook basically behaves like a tablet, you know. So you can't drag and drop so much on Chromebook. But what you can do, and same thing on your phone, you can just click, let's do property condition disclosure. And actually, I'm going to show you another little extra. So you have a listing. It's signed by the seller, but it's not signed by a buyer because you don't have a buyer yet, okay? You could take that property condition disclosure and put it in that field right there, but you're going to get a comment on it and it's going to turn red because staff is going to look at it and go, oh, well, when you get a buyer, let us know. Boom, turns red. So the other thing, and they won't ding you if you do it this way. You come down here and we do seller signed only property condition disclosure. We did that just because honestly, they tend to sell so fast right now that it's not that huge of an issue, but if it happens. So we can do select file. So if you're on your tablet or phone or something like that, and you save these to, say, your Dropbox. Everybody familiar with Dropbox? Mm-hmm. Okay. We could go, there's my OneDrive right there. These happen to be on the desktop though. So let's see, desktop and archive and then test files. So it's the same file. And what do we do? Seller signed only. Signed by seller only. So we can just upload them that way. Okay, so either way it works. Does that all seem pretty simple? So I'm going to go back to the home page. Let's go big here. I think I have a file here that's red. I got that top one. Let's do this. See if that's. Go ahead and click this and go into it, and hopefully we have a red document. And of course we don't. Okay. I'm looking for a red document so that I can just show you how to correct it. Try this one. Actually, I think this one I did do a red document. Interstellar Way. Spacey. Okay, so we have a purchase and sale agreement. It says on here, please have buyer initial page 2. GP, that's me. I'm not very original. I use that same example constantly for years now. So we have the purchase and sale agreement. So real estate purchase and sale agreement, I got it signed, all the pages. I'm just going to come over here. I'm going to drag it on top of it, and that's it. I've updated it. Does that seem pretty good to you guys?
Yeah, till you get there.
Yeah. The documents do have to be separated. So if you're dealing with someone, another agent who decided to take a picture of it and all the pages and send it to you, and you get a JPEG, share their name with all of us so that we can send them letters, because JPEGs are awful. You have them when you receive it because you open it up and it goes on your screen, and it says the name of the seller, kind of annoying, yeah.
For like the naming conventions with the PDFs, do you first put like the sellers, like if it's like the seller rep agreement first, or like have
you can call it whatever you want. You can call it XYZ123, and we're gonna see what it is because it's gonna quasi name it when you upload it anyhow.
Okay.
So, and we can rename it. I mean, if you do put seller rep agreement, I think that makes it easier for you. So the only other thing I want to show you on this, up at the top here, we have a couple of things. And do look for a change that's coming probably next week on this to deal with the documents that are not part of a transaction, so pre-transaction stuff. We're going to have that solution. It's actually going to be another box right here. And it'll just say pre-transaction, so you can just upload what you want.
So like emails and stuff?
Well, you can actually upload anything you want in here.
Oh, okay.
It does. I mean, we're looking for the legal documents. That's what we're going to be inspecting. If it doesn't fall within normal legal documents, we'll probably rename it other or something like that.
So does this system create an email address that you can CC to, and then it automatically
No.
sends that every? No, it does not.
No. It's meant to be very specific and very simple. We didn't want it to tie in with the MLS. We didn't want it to tie in with anything else. It's a standalone system. If you've been, I don't know how long you've been an agent, but MLS tends to change things fairly often.
Oh, I wasn't talking about MLS. I'm talking about if you want, if you're having a conversation with your client,
Mhm.
and you want to save that and to be able to put it into this file so it keeps it, does this system allow you to do that?
You can just drag it in, depending on what you're using for your email. So it's not an email system per se, but what I would recommend on that, and we'll talk about that next, is Boomtown. You have a Boomtown account, and that has a CRM in it for all your customers. And that can track all the history. It's free. There's a paid version, but there's a free version. So that might be more appropriate for that.
And then the second question is, after everything you close your transaction, is there an easy way to be able to download the entire, all the documents, all the final documents, and then so if you wanted to save a copy of those out of this system?
There is a download button, but there are individual documents.
Oh.
As
you
opposed
have
to all of
download every individual. It doesn't.
But what you
lump all
can
the
do
files.
is log into M Files
Okay.
and just look at your transaction, and all the documents are there, and you can just copy paste.
Okay.
And I can show you how to do that. To be honest, just about nobody goes into M Files anymore except for staff, but it's there for you, and it's not hard to use. It's just different. So yes, there is a way easy. It's actually very easy. You just type the address, pops up, expand it. It's just like a little arrow, and you expand it, and just kind of highlight all of them and drag them wherever you want. So, up at the top here, this is where you update your contact information. So, I don't know, you get a new email address, change it, what is it, you get a week or something like that if you move to update IREC and tell your brokerage. This is how you do it, just update it here. You change your phone number, whatever. That's what the reason we asked you to do this rather than emailing us or something like that. One, email we don't trust, and two, this has a workflow behind it, and it tells all the staff so they update all the systems accordingly. Some things it automatically updates, but for the most part, it tells them all. If you go out and get a company, change MLSs or add an MLS. Right here's where I created a company. Here's the IRS form. I need to redo this a little bit to make it easier for you guys. EIN number, any of that type of stuff's in here. Up at the top here, we also have agent referral. This is actually going to take you into Toolbox, and this is how you can do referrals for agents that you think are stellar and you think you want to work with more and be a part of Silver Creek. And this is just a process to make sure that you get profit sharing on the people. Okay. Up at the top here, we also have cards and flyers. This is bear printing. Someone told me they're taking a while right now. And the deal when they originally came out here, by the way, we don't make any money off of it. There's no relationship other than they did a really nice job. We like their product. We like their perma flyers. And I think if you got it in by say 2 o'clock today, they're out of Portland, but they'll mail it out tomorrow, overnight. So, well, tomorrow's Saturday, but okay, they'd mail it out Monday in this case, the next working day. And if it's after 2, it would be the following day. So they're really fast. They do postcard programs. You can put all your customers in there. Once you log into it, you can set up your MLS account. You personalize it for you, and it ties into MLS. So if you do a listing and have pictures, it can create flyers right from your pictures and do mailers and everything right from there. So it's actually a really nice product. But by no means, we don't have any loyalties to them per se. We just think that they do a pretty good job. So, and the owner is a bit techie and knew how to do single sign-on. So we said, sure, that's what you want to do. So we gave that to him. Any questions on any of this? Does it seem simple enough? Okay. The next thing we're going to talk about is websites. So let me close this. And let me begin. So we have 3 things that really more than that in terms of marketing, but 3 website options for you. 2 of them are free, 1 of them is a paid option. We have the SilverCreekRealty.net. That's been around since the beginning. In the beginning, I used to do kind of round robin on leads, and we had 20 agents. Actually, in the beginning, our first Christmas holiday get together, was 4 of us, so it was really small. We were over on Cole Road, and then obviously we've grown a little bit since 2008. I think we're 1,640 agents today. So thank you. I used to round robin those leads to all the agents. And then I started getting nasty comments from the public saying, no one's contacted me. So my first comment on that is, if I ever send you a lead, please call the people. You know, it hurts all of us if you guys aren't following up on your leads. It gets the company a bad rep. So we really want to make sure we're professional and we're all doing the things the way we're supposed to do things. How am I doing on time, Grace? Am I okay? Oh, I'm good. You're good. We're doing good. Okay, so we don't really do that anymore. I have some agents that help out with it, but for the most part, we're just trying to funnel them to the right person. Everybody, you get a web page. If you go into the toolbox and do the update your web page, there's a link in there. It'll ask you some questions. It's basically just an outline with suggestions. I think all we need in there, the only required thing I think is maybe your phone number, your email, and your name. Okay. After that, it's all pretty much write what you want, give us your bio, upload your picture, all that kind of stuff. If you want to update it, you go back in there and send us the updates, and we'll update it. If we don't understand it, we'll call you or email you, whatever. We do use the phone. It's okay. That said, it doesn't have a real CRM system in the background. It's okay. Once your page is set up, if someone does a search from your page, then basically I get an email if they're asking a question or something. It'll say referring URL silvercreekrealty.net/profile/agent name. Okay, that's great. I know how to handle it. I can figure that out and send it to you. It's when they're doing stuff from other pages we don't know. Okay. The reason I keep it around is last month we had 62,000 hits. So it's an okay website. It does okay. We're not directly making sales off of it, but that's where people are going, and that's what they're using to authenticate who you are. They're looking, the vast majority of the hits are going to agent profiles, okay? They're going to your pages. So please turn in your pages. I think it really helps people, and it helps getting that SEO, and that it's a billboard for you on the web. It helps get the name recognition out there. So that's one thing we want you to do. That's this. This website, I should tell you, the MLSs that it shows on it, to my knowledge, we're the only brokerage in the state that does this. We have, obviously, IMLS on there. We have Mountain Central. We have Sun Valley. We have Coeur d'Alene. We have Snake River MLS, Greater Pocatello Association of Realtors, and Teton Board of Realtors. which goes into Wyoming, which obviously we're not licensed to sell in Wyoming. We're running out of MLSs in Idaho, but we're getting there. I think Sandpoint maybe one day. You know, I think there might be one more somewhere in between, but it's super small. Yeah.
You pointed at it, but which one was it? Was it a Boomtown or?
This is the SilverCreekRealty.net has all the MLSs.
Okay.
Okay. The second thing we came up with is we're looking at the agents and saying, okay, remember I think Kristen talked about tools. Okay, we want to give you the tools. What are the areas where agents are kind of struggling? So about 2 years ago, we got Boomtown. What we like about it is it gives you a CRM, contact resource manager. So it gives you the ability to put your customers in, gives them a place to go to your website. You can send them there, and when they register, it goes right to you. It goes in there, and you can manage your people. It does create an email for you, and you can email it right out from there, and it tracks it. You can call people directly from it. You do have to have your cell phone put in. There's a field for it. I do it by default. So, but if you take it out, it will mess up your ability to do phone calls. But it can track all of that. So it's a great system. The free version doesn't have a lot of marketing. The paid version has some marketing. It's okay. It's not great. Okay, and that was the second thing that we looked into. But so for first, everybody has a free Boomtown. Absolutely go in there and set it up. I'll show you how to do it in a sec. Super easy. This is a little more limited. It has IMLS, Mountain Central, Greater Pocatello, and Snake River. Okay, we can only have 4. Those are the biggest ones in the state, so that's what I went with. This picture cannot be changed. That's one of the things that agents have said. They want to be able to customize the site. You can put your bio in there, and I didn't show it, and we'll go through it, but further down the page, your bio and picture and all that can appear. But you can't do anything with the top, so that's one of the things that agents were asking about. So then we said, well, organization skills, this really helps, and I think that it's kind of the gateway into having your own website and really managing it without being overwhelming. It's set up, it's got the basic tools and lets you work with customers. And honestly, everybody who gets into these super custom websites, great, sounds wonderful, but it's a lot of work. And your customers really only want to be able to search the MLS and look at homes and communicate with you. That's like 99% of what they really want the website for. What they want it for. You may want it for more things, but that's what they want it for. Okay? So Boomtown covers that. There is a paid version that has marketing. It'll do some Facebook marketing. It'll do some other things. None of these have a pay per lead. You don't just pay and get a lead. You pay for marketing, which in turn gets you leads. They're good and they're productive, but it's not a direct relationship. Okay. Last, we said, okay, well, we need something that's going to let you do your own marketing, manage your own business, because the philosophy of Silver Creek is really keep the cost down. So since 2008, we have raised our transaction fee and monthly fees 0, not a penny. Okay, we've grown. Obviously, that helps. But the idea is that we keep the costs down. So you take the money from the transaction and you're reinvesting in yourself. You're going to pay for some marketing. You're going to do things that better your business. Okay, that's our concept. That's Roger Dowdy's concept, and it truly is. He really is a very he's a shrewd business guy, but he's more than that. Silver Creek started when it crashed, 2008. Okay, and both his sons were in real estate, and he said, well, he and I were talking one day, and I was doing the IT stuff and being an agent. And he said, what we need is a way, I can either pay to have, keep the kids afloat, or I can give them the opportunity to keep themselves afloat. So that's his philosophy for agents. He wants you guys to be able to have your own business be successful. Okay? And we benefit from it. no doubt. But I'd like to think that we give so many tools, and I think we do give the most tools by far of anybody out there, for you to benefit your business. So that said, we go on to KV Core. So that we started this January. So it's this year. It's less than a year old with us. KV Core is inside real estate. Some of you may have known them as Conversion. They kind of flip-flop and change their name. Each version is just a newer version of it. I like this. I think it's the paid version of Boomtown, $60 a month. The base version of this is $60 a month. So the difference is you can not fully, but you can change all the pictures, modify the layout somewhat, change all the colors, the words on it. The only thing you can't get rid of is the logo up here for Silver Creek, which you got to do to be legal. And the format, there's some limitations to the formatting stuff, but you can do a lot. I mean, you can literally, there's a whole bunch of templates for how you can lay it out. You can do marketing direct from it. You can do open house. They have an open house program, so when you're doing an open house and you want to market it to your people, and they can register for it, they can register on site, and then they're right into the CRM. It focuses more on text, while Boomtown focuses more on email. Your delivery rates are better on Boomtown for email. Your delivery rates are better overall in KV Core because of the text. I don't know how you guys feel about text. Honestly, I don't know if I'm getting old or what, but I just can't see this stupid thing. I do have these. They're really cool when I use them. But for the most part, I don't text as much. Or I do it from my computer, actually. So, I don't know. It kind of depends how you want to do your business. Okay? I highly recommend that if you're going to upgrade to the Boomtown to the $60, that you look at KV. I think it's a better product overall. With KV Core, you can do Google pay-per-click, although it's expensive. And that's because they say the minimum that you need to spend for pay-per-click to be to give a good return is like $500 a month. The next level would be Facebook is better. They recommend spending $250 a month on Facebook. The next level, and so it goes up from there on different products. They have one that's like $60. It's a promotion for your listings, and that actually gets you both listings and buyer leads. So, and it's from what I've been told by the agents who have been doing KV Core, they say it really works. So,
have you ever heard of Follow-Up Boss?
Huh?
What do you think? I mean, given
it's fine. It's nowhere near the capabilities.
It's KV Core.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah. And if we needed help, we can get help from you.
Yeah, I'll get you started. And then they have classes. You need to do the classes, and I'm going to tell you need to do the classes on Boomtown as well. Yeah. They're both really nice classes. Boomtown's actually live. It's online, but it's live. And they do it 6 times a week, 3 days a week, twice on those days. KV Core is not live. They have done live with us in groups here, but we have those recorded. They're all in there and on YouTube. But their classes they break it down into like 3-minute intervals. So the first week's classes are maybe 35 minutes long, but they're like 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 4 minutes. So you kind of fit them in between, and you can follow along and pause it and go try it out on your site and then go to the next thing. I like how they do it. So you're going to go in the toolbox. If you go into the tools section and click on Boomtown or KV Core, it's going to give you a whole bunch of information on both of them. Let me open that up real quick just so I can give you a peek. So in Toolbox, where are you? What is my login? Okay. So you're going to come down here. By the way, the layout on this does vary a little bit based on what you put in that green section, your favorites. So it may look a little different for you than it does for me. The sections are still the section, but the tool might be over here. So if we go into Boomtown, you can go down the page right here. It says Boomtown First Steps. How do you log in? Basically, you just go to boomtownroi.com, leads.boomtownroi.com. You're going to put in your email address as your username, and then say reset password. It's going to email it to you, and that's how you reset it. And then you can get in and do the rest. Once you're in, you can fill out your profile. Okay? You'll want to do all of this. You can import your contacts. It tells you how to get to it. You're going to do the bulk import. You're going to make sure they do it, not you. So they're just going to have a process to do it. Okay? Little questionnaire on what to do with stuff. And then go through the training. Okay? I'm going to go back a page, maybe. And I'm going to go to KB Core. And I should say in here, I think there's actually no videos or anything in here. There are videos on YouTube on our YouTube, on the Silver Creek TV. Did she show you the Silver Creek TV site? I don't think she did. So if we go there right now, hopefully it's muted, because otherwise I'm going to hear myself talking. So in here, right now we're doing the agent orientation. So if something's live in here, and you go to Silver Creek TV, you'll see it, okay? Live and allowed to stream. Sometimes we get instructors where it's a private course. But then you can go through all of these videos that are in here. Agent orientation, tech hour, we've recorded some of those for common questions. It's just really exciting stuff. All the marketing, that is actually exciting stuff with Liz. New agent training, all kinds of courses to help new agents, okay? And there's more, but that's how you get to it. You can get to it from Toolbox, but you can go right to Silver Creek TV. So back to this, if we go into the KB Core, this one has some videos, but there's one I want to just draw your attention to. So this is the, the happy marketing that KB Core does. This right here is a promotional thing that they did with Silver Creek, so it's live. It's the same thing as Boomtown. Once you're set up, how you get into it, there's their website and whatnot. Down here where it says KB Core Marketing, this is the question I get mostly. Well, what can I do with KB Core? Watch this video. It's like 35 minutes long, and they're really, really, really happy when they do it. So just be prepared for that. Definitely someone in the sales side of things, or some people. But it's good. It is actually really good content. And they go through, what are the free things with KB Core? What are the paid things with KB Core? And it doesn't actually cover all of them because they've been adding things since this video came out. But it's got a lot of stuff. So that said, let me go back into here. Are you guys still with me?
Yes.
You're hanging in there. You're surviving. We do know this is a lot of information between what she went over, what I'm going over. There's a whole section that I go through on technology and how not to need me. It's one of my favorite sections that I'm not going to have time to do today unless you guys want to stay really late, okay? But we'll work that in at a different time, and I know it would overwhelm you anyhow. So anyhow, Boomtown, setting up your page. This is kind of the section where you can put your picture on Boomtown. Really basic stuff. You can actually do a long bio, but it's further down the page. This is the Boomtown CRM. So all of your contacts will show up in here that you've uploaded, or people who have gone to your website. You can see their activity. You can download the Boomtown Now app. This is all with the free version. And so someone goes to your site. Maybe it's Mary Smith. You've been working with her. You can send her in Paragon, and we have people watching who are probably using Navica and whatnot. Over in Navica, they don't have this feature, but Paragon has the collaboration software. And the idea to that is you set up search criteria for your customer. And maybe it's 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 200,000, 350,000 in South Meridian with a pool. I don't know, whatever it is. And whenever anything that meets that criteria becomes available, it sends them an email. Okay, that's collaboration. They look at it, they make comments on it, they do their own searches. You can see their searches. So that's all available from within Paragon. The Boomtown one is better. It's more granular. You can pick more things. I think it responds faster, and most importantly, you can really get some good details, communication with your customers, and that's what will show up in here. And then, so you, sake of argument, what was it, Mary Smith? I said she's on your page, and your website will be your name.silvercreek art real estate or silvercreekrealty.com. So the .com is Boomtown. Okay. .net is the original website. So mine would be georgepafundi.silvercreekrealty.com. Okay. So they're on there. They've already registered. Okay. Or you set them up or whatever. And she's logged in. She's searching. She looks at a property, and then she does a loan calculation on it. Okay. And she go in and she's looking at something. Then she goes back and does another loan calculation. Well, during this, your Boomtown Now app, you got a notice that says, Mary Smith just did a loan calculation on this property. Then Mary Smith just did another loan calculation on this property. So what do? You call Mary Smith up because her number's right here. You just press it, you call it. It's going to track it and hear that you called her. And, hey, Mary, how you doing? This is George. Hey, you're not going to believe it. I found a great property you should check out. And then, of course, you go on to tell her all about this property that she's been looking at. And then she's on the other side going, oh, that's amazing. That's one just like that I was just looking at. You know, now you're a hero and you're the greatest real estate agent ever. Okay? It honestly, it works. So you're creating that communication between you and the customer. That's what it's about. So that gives you the idea on this. In KV Core, it looks, obviously you put your picture up at the top, but you can change your whole background, put your own logo and everything else in here. There's the updating profile. I think I have a screenshot in here of, so that's the home page. I don't have, right here, Smart CRM, it looks just like Boomtown with a list of people. Very similar thing. You can create alerts in there also. They call them something different, but it's all very similar product with that regard. The difference is on the home page, we do have a bunch of videos here. We do have the training. Boomtown has their versions kind of down here. But then we have these sections here. Lead engine. Sorry, I can't see it from here. We have landing pages. We have squeeze pages. Lead Dropbox. There's the bulk import for your contacts, and you can add more people. We have not millions mapped. I've seen some good and bad on it. It's their own system, but I think you have to set it up. You can do from this, they have, you ever get the phone calls, but it doesn't ring, you get a message? I think you get 10 of those a month, and you can pay for the service beyond that, okay? Slide dial, we use it for the company, so it's the same basic concept. They have tons of things like that. On this page, this is their marketplace, just to give you an idea of all these different things that it can do and tie in with. It's just got so much more, and that's why I think if you're going to pay for it, you got to check it out. It's the same price, and if you go and want to build a team and you're really serious about it, for $3.99, so it's more expensive obviously, but for $3.99 a month plus the $60, the $3.99 goes to Inside Real Estate. You can have up to 15 agents on the team. We'll add them under our umbrella. They don't have to pay, so that's covered as part of that $3.99. But then you can have, and this has, I should say, drip campaigns. I didn't say anything about that in Boomtown. The free version does not have drip campaigns. The paid version does. That's the difference between, I think they call it profile only and premier or something like that. Drip campaigns are someone goes to your site, they're a buyer, it recognizes that they're a buyer, and it puts them in a campaign that it sends them an email, sends them the next day it sends them another email, it tells you to call them, and so on, so on, so on. KB Corp kind of takes it a step further. They do texts in there, and they call you, and you'll get a phone call and say, this is KB, it's an automated. This is KB Corp, you have a new lead on your website, I'm Mary Smith. Do you want me to put you through to her? And it'll connect you. You can have it record the phone calls. Yes, that's legal in Idaho as long as one side approves of it. I don't do it. I'm not really sure why you're recording your phone calls, but anyhow, that's up to you. You can do all of that, okay? So, and that's included, the drip campaigns included. So, if you have any questions, you can email me or Race on this subject, and we'll help you out, get you started, give you an idea of how it works, or really the best thing is to come to the tech meeting on Wednesdays, and we go more in depth in your specific questions. So, other than that, let's see, what time are we at? Anybody? 57, we have 3 minutes. The other thing, I don't have it open, but there was a question earlier on technology. Let me pull up that sheet, because there was something that you guys were asking about that you think is worthy of talking about. Oh, actually, here we go. I'm just going to click through this real quick just to see a couple things to emphasize to you. This is your business. You need to be prepared with technology, okay? If you're, I don't see anybody in here who would be anti-computers, but anybody anti-computers? You're anti-computers, okay. They're not going away. They're pretty much here to stay, so you're gonna have to learn to use them. Trademark. There was I think you were asking the question. So you do have to have Silver Creek Realty Group in some fashion on all your marketing, okay? It is a trademark. Silver Creek is a trademark of Silver Creek Realty Group. And we do that. Honestly, it's amazing how it stopped everybody getting pen offers in the emails with Silver Creek Realty Group. Just stopped once we did the trademark. But you are authorized, because you're agents with us, to use Silver Creek and Silver Creek Realty Group. So it protects you, but it also gives you some unique abilities with it, okay? Sorry, I'm losing my voice now. Big thing is you do have to use it in your advertising. And you do have to use Silver Creek Realty Group. Or you can use the logo, but it has to have all of that. We're not Silver Creek, we're not Silver Creek Realty. If the Real Estate Commission calls you for some reason, and you answer the phone, hi, this is George Profundi with Silver Creek Realty, you may be getting a fine. They are that aggressive with it sometimes, okay? So, okay, printing. So, obviously we'll set you up with printers. Come to Wednesday, that's the easiest. If you have a Mac, Race is way better with Mac than I am, so he'll set you up for that. If you're at the office, you can always use the drop-in computers. You log in with your credentials, it knows who you are, you print, you go to the printer, put in your code, and you can release your documents. Once your computer, like if you have a laptop or something, once it's set up for the printers, it's a Canon Follow Me printer. So you can print here, drive to Idaho Falls, log into the printer, and it will say, well, what does she have to print? Okay, and it's that simple. If you have your computer and you're at Idaho Falls, you do have to log into the local network, which the password is Silver Creek with a capital S and an exclamation point. Once you do it once, your computer will save it. And then you can print there. You can go to Eagle, Nampa, Boise, okay? We have a new Boise location coming. We may have some other locations that we're looking into right now. So we have a lot of exciting things going on. If you're on you get an email on your phone with a PDF attached. It has to be a PDF. And you forward that to print@silvercreekrealty.net. from your email that you've told us that you're using. That's how it knows it's you. And you get to the office, log into the machine, it will be waiting for you. It stays in the printer queue for a day. So if you print something, you have a choice of print keep, print delete. Do print keep. It doesn't hurt anything unless you really know it's going to come off. Personally, I just do print keep just to make sure it works. And then I delete it afterwards, just in case something weird happened. I can run to another machine or whatever. We have 5 machines in this building. We have 2 in Eagle, 1 in Boise, 1 in Nampa, 1 in Twin Falls, 1 in I'm forgetting some. Idaho Falls, Pocatello. Okay. I'm not gonna worry about that. Virus protection. The only thing I'll tell you is if you have Windows 10, Windows Defender is a decent virus protection program. It's not the greatest virus protection program ever, but we don't see a lot of virus problems. What we see is a lot of scams in real estate. I do recommend Malwarebytes, the paid version. It's like $36 or something like that for like 18 months. I don't know what it is. It does a pretty good job. We have seen a lot of Macs in the past 6 months getting hacked with viruses and with scams. So Macs are not immune. So if you have a Mac, you still got to protect yourself. And Malwarebytes works on Macs too. If you have anybody have kids, just say no. If they ask you to use your computer, just say no. Obviously, that's not always realistic. Give them their own login. Let it not be administrative. Then you're protected. And you need some guidance on that, Steve. Okay. This is the one that gets most agents. You get an email. You have a listing. You get an email, and basically it says, "Hey, it's from an agent that you've heard of or even know. Yeah, everything looks right on the email. Everything looks good. Great news! Got an offer on your property. I've shared it from my Dropbox attached. So you click on that. You're excited. You click on that, and it says you need to log into your Dropbox in order to get access to it. So you log into your Dropbox, and now they just got access to your Dropbox. Okay. That's not how it works. If someone shares something, it's not through your Dropbox, it's a shared document. If something, it's the sniff test, right? If it smells kind of fishy, it doesn't sound right, okay? They are phishing scams, that's what they are. If it just doesn't look right, or if it's got a link, to your bank and you're overdrawn, quote unquote, right? Oh, go to your browser, don't hit the link, open your bank website, or do it on your phone these days. Okay, you have other options to be safer. Don't go from the email link. With the agent that sent you that email, pick up the phone and call them. Hey, something looks weird. Did you send me an offer? And then when they say, no, that's weird. Well, their Dropbox or whatever got hacked. Believe me, you're going to have a friend when it's all said and done. Okay, they need to know it too. Other than that, I think everybody said or went like this when they said, what Dropbox is or Google Drive or OneDrive. Great way to back up your stuff. Okay. It's not a true backup system, and you do need to be protective of your passwords. That was the one I wanted to talk to you about. Sorry. I have about an hour and 15-minute limit on my voice. I don't know why. I know why. Someone cursed me and they said I talk too much. So, a couple things. If you receive a PDF or if you download a PDF, you're dealing with a transaction and it's all one PDF. You need to separate it into sections. If you have a Mac, number one, it has a preview built onto it. You don't need to download Adobe on your Macs. Just use Preview. It does a great job, unless you want to do the paid version of Adobe. Preview will separate documents and do all types of great stuff. You can go to ilovepdf.com. It will switch to the S, so don't panic over that. Great little online program. You can put documents, PDFs together, separate PDFs, convert a JPEG to a PDF, lots of great things right from your computer. A good one to download is PDFill. I like it. It's more basic. There's a paid and a free version. One of the things that comes in really handy with, I like how PDFill does it better than I love PDF, but doing watermarks. So you have a transaction. You're doing a rejection on it because you have to upload the rejection document, and you should be sending it to the other party. You can just do a watermark on top of the document right on your computer, and it'll say rejected, whatever you want it to say, but rejected with the date next to it, and that keeps you legal. Easy way to do it. Okay. Again, come Wednesday if you have questions about that, and we can go through it as a group. I don't think any of this is that big, other than make sure you're doing your updates. That goes for your browsers and whatnot. We have noticed some issues as of late with Safari. So if you're on a Mac, I would lean towards Chrome. Use Chrome on your Mac. Firefox had a problem, it's doing better. The new Microsoft Edge, they've did an update. It runs on Chromium, so it's basically running on the same thing that Chrome is running on. I actually like it better than Chrome, to be honest. It's got a few features that I like better. And it runs on Mac, so you can download it.